What are the scientifically proven strategies that we can start using today to strengthen the mind? By the end of this video, you will take away 3 evidence-based strategies that you can use to strengthen the mind by nurturing your mental well-being and happiness. In this video, we'll focus on how we can spend our money for ourselves to increase our happiness. How can we spend money on ourselves to increase our happiness? Research shows that spending money on experiences like watching a movie, watching a live concert, or a sporting event increases our happiness much more than when we spend money on material purchases like clothing or electronics. This is because when we spend money on material purchases, we often make more comparisons between different products, making the choices much more difficult and regretful than when we buy experiential purchases. In an experiment, people were divided into 2 groups. Group 1 was asked to think of an experiential purchase they made in the past that was worth over $50, and Group 2 was asked to think about material purchases they made that was worth, again, more than $50. Both groups were then asked in terms of how difficult the choice was, how many comparisons that they made when they were making the choice, how satisfied they were when they made the choice, and how satisfied they are at the present moment about those purchases. The results show that Group 1 that was asked to think about an experiential purchase was more satisfied than Group 2 that was asked to think about a material purchase. So making an experiential purchase leads to greater satisfaction or happiness than making a material purchase by reducing our concerns or regrets about whether or not we made the right choice. When we make a material purchase, we often make a lot of comparisons, always trying to buy a better product or a superior product. And even after we make the purchase, we're always thinking about whether we made the right choice, whether we could have bought another product that could have been better, that could have made us more satisfied or happy. Another key advantage of making experiential purchases for increasing our happiness is that waiting to go on a holiday or to watch a live event or a sporting event or a concert leads to greater happiness and satisfaction than waiting to make a purchase of a clothing or electronic good. But is waiting for an experience like going to movies or on a holiday more satisfying than waiting to make a material purchase, because we tend to consume those experiences together with other people? For instance, when we are waiting to go on a holiday or to watch a movie, we often consume those experiences together with our friends or family. But when we make those material purchases, we may be less likely to make those purchases together with other people. So waiting to go on a holiday or consume an experience might lead to greater happiness or satisfaction because of that social element of the consumption experience. So it'd be interesting to incorporate the social context in which people consume experiences versus purchasing material goods in future studies. My most memorable experiential purchase was when I booked an accommodation to go on a holiday with my family soon after my first baby was born. And it was such an exciting experience to be able to go on a holiday for the first time with my family, with my newborn baby. And because it was such a special occasion, I booked the most amazing accommodation where you had a swimming pool that looked as if it was sitting on the edge of a cliff. And I really wanted that photo of me in the pool, just overlooking the ocean. But it was actually winter time, so I had to endure the pain of freezing in the cold water just for that photo. But it was such worth the effort. When you want a dose of happiness and want to purchase something for yourself, spend more money on experiences than on material goods. And don't forget to savor that pleasure and excitement of waiting to consume that experience to extract the greatest happiness from your experiential purchase. Which experiential purchase gave you the greatest happiness or satisfaction in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. but we can't spend money on experiences all the time to increase our happiness. How can we spend money on material goods to increase our happiness? Research shows that we can increase our happiness by spending more money on things that better match our personality. Your personality can be described in terms of 5 characteristics: openness to experience, extraversion, whether or not you're outgoing, agreeableness, whether or not you're kind and caring, neuroticism, how stressed and anxious you are, and conscientiousness, how attentive or organized you are. And in the same way, the things that we purchase can be categorized in terms of these 5 characteristics of personality. For example, movies, arts, craft, tourism, DIY projects, travel can be linked to openness to experience, home and life insurance, stationery, subscriptions, health and fitness, to conscientiousness. People would pay more attention to detail and organized. Music, sports, bars, eating out, to extraversion, outgoing. Charities, florists, to agreeableness. Gambling, to neuroticism. A survey of 625 people shows that when we purchase things that better match our personality, we are able to better express who we are and experience greater happiness as a result. So for example, extroverts feel greater happiness when they purchase foods and drinks at a bar or a restaurant when they go out, but introverts feel greater happiness when they purchase things like books. People who score low on neuroticism feel greater happiness when they make purchases that are related to gardening, stationery, or even going to hotels. The finding also shows that people who score very high on neuroticism, who feel very stressed and anxious, would benefit much more in terms of increasing their happiness when they spend more money on gambling. But of course, this is questionable whether this is a good thing for them in the long run. It will be interesting to study whether those people who score very high on neuroticism would benefit from increased happiness when they spend money on things that cause them pain, like watching a horror movie or attending really physically challenging events like a marathon or other events where they have to go through a lot of these physically challenging obstacles. I always love trying and experiencing new things, but really lack agreeableness and attention to detail like conscientiousness. So for me, I would benefit more when I spend more money on things like horse riding, the things that I haven't tried before, but spend less money on things like insurance to increase my happiness. What kind of purchases better match your personality? Share your thoughts in the comments below. What does the science say about spending money to reduce our negative emotions? Research shows that when we feel extremely embarrassed, spending money on a product that can restore our face, like a restorative facial cream or moisturizer, can help reduce our feeling of embarrassment. In an experiment, people were asked to write about a time when they felt really embarrassed, and then they were randomly divided into 3 groups, where group 1 was asked to apply facial cream on the face, group 2 was asked to wear a pair of sunglasses, and group 3 was asked to skip these 2 tasks. The results showed that group 1 that was asked to apply facial cream felt significantly less embarrassed compared to the other 2 groups, and also group 1 felt like they were more willing to engage in social activities like going out for a dinner or playing sports like badminton with their friends. When we feel embarrassed, we become more willing to buy products that can restore our face, like a facial cream, which has a symbolic meaning of restoring our face. So the purchase of a facial cream becomes a symbolic action that we take to manage our emotions. For example, when people think about their past unethical deeds that they've done, they become more motivated to wash their hands as a symbolic way of washing away their sins. People who lie with their mouth become more motivated to purchase a mouthwash more than a hand washing liquid, But people who lie in an email using their hands become more motivated to purchase a hand washing liquid more than a mouthwash. So likewise, when we feel embarrassed, a symbolic action that we can take is to purchase a facial cream in the hopes of restoring our image. But on the other hand, purchasing sunglasses when we feel embarrassed or wearing them does not help reduce our embarrassment, because avoiding social contact doesn't really help with reducing our embarrassment. I remember causing a lot of embarrassment for myself when I was back in high school playing handball with my classmates in a sports lesson. And we were practicing shooting at the time, and each one of us had to do it one by one while the rest of the class was watching us. And so I really wanted to impress everyone, and so what I decided to do was to dribble up the ball and jump really high in the air, throw the ball to shoot, and do a front roll as I land on the ground. But what actually happened was, after shooting the ball in the air, I landed on my shoulder, and it was one of the most painful experiences. I was in such agony, and I couldn't use my arm for the next 4 weeks. But at the time I felt extremely embarrassed, and I don't remember purchasing a facial cream to reduce my embarrassment. I didn't know about the research, but I might have bought one anyway because I had a really bad acne at the time. And so, but the one question is, knowing this research finding, would it still work to reduce our embarrassment? That when we learn that purchasing a facial cream can reduce our embarrassment, after knowing that, whether purchasing a facial cream can actually reduce our embarrassment, or do we have to somehow unconsciously purchase these kind of symbolic purchases in order to reduce our negative emotions? You try it and let us know. What symbolic purchases have you made in the past to reduce your negative emotions? Share your thoughts in the comments below. So the 3 key takeaways from this video are: first, spend more money on purchasing experiences more than material goods in order to increase your happiness. Second, spend more money on purchasing products and services that better match your personality. Third, purchase a facial cream in order to reduce your embarrassment. I'm glad that you're here, because you can now use scientific knowledge to strengthen your mind and to nurture your mental well-being. Subscribe to get more scientifically proven strategies to strengthen your mind.